All right. So here we are. I'm Haiti or D with the lovely Maureen.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello. We are Mystic Views and it no,
And,
Enchanted Views and
and
Mystic
Mystic
Views.
Brews.
We will get this. And today we decided to do a special show for Ostara. We decided to do this podcast to show everything witchy. And with each episode, we're also going to come up with a brew, whether it's like a cocktail or a tea or coffee, something to also kind of go in hand with what we're going to discuss, right?
I can't wait. I know that you stir up the big things.
Yeah.
I don't do any of those things because I'm not. I don't know. I've never learned how to do them. I think when somebody
Hmm.
says to me, well, I saw this thing and it had this, and this in it. And I'm like, oh, that means this, and this. So I know what it
Yeah.
means. I've never really gotten into those things. However, I am eclectic. So
Yeah.
you cook in the kitchen and I have the intention of what I'm doing and I know which way to stir things and that kind of thing. But you're really into this and I love it. So I have to
Yeah,
learn
I
something.
mean, I started off small. I started off with like we used to do just a simple like simmer pot, just because I also like the smells like potpourri in your house.
Right.
And
Right.
we used to, write on the basil leaves and like put our intention in, and let it. We would run the simmer pot for like 7 days or so, and it kind of started off small, but then I started doing I like as like years when I started, I added a little bit more to like each thing, and now we got to this.
I like that. I do the basil leaf thing, but again, that's kind of like that's the typical thing that a lot of witches do. But
Hmm.
again, you have a whole concoction there going and it's really interesting.
Yes, yes, I do. And it's funny. The ritual that we're gonna show today, I actually did last year with this awesome like witchy coven that I found in town, on Facebook, and we met up, and we actually met up for Ostara last year, and they showed me this ritual. I thought it was great. So, and what's great is, so what we'll be using for the ritual later is this plant. It's called the Rose of Jericho, also called the Resurrection Plant. So right now it just looks like this brown moss
Like a
kind of thing.
tumbleweed.
Yeah. So they call it the Resurrection Plant because once you put it in water, it actually opens up and blooms and turns green.
Oh wow.
And then when you take, but the thing is, so it never like really dies. Once it's dried out, you
Oh,
could
you can.
use it again. You could keep using it.
Oh, so it's a
So it's
spirit plant.
So it's good for spell work with like manifestations and things like that, and money spells too. Or you want your money abundance to grow, or you know even I would even say like self love, all different types of spells you could use this for, not just holiday ritual.
Very cool. I love that. Who doesn't love
Yeah,
abundance?
exactly. So before we get into what Ostara and is in Spring Equinox, how we start off with a beverage. So I'm actually gonna, because I mixed a blend for this, and in the blend, see this pretty leaf, all these little things. So I did a chamomile blend, and in the tea it has chamomile, lemongrass, blue mallow blossoms, lavender, pieces of strawberry. I'm a very fruity person, and I feel like fruit really goes with like spring because everything's starting to grow and everything like that. So I put strawberry, piece of pineapple, mango. There's rose petals, raspberry, and a little bit of orange to it.
And vodka.
So.
And vodka. Kidding. Just
and
kidding.
and each herb has its own, especially when doing spell work, each herb has its own function, has its own magical property. So like chamomile is actually for like money, sleep, love and emotional support, luck, protection. Lemongrass is for clarity and focus. Uh, the blue mallow blossoms actually promote spiritual healing and peace. Lavender, love, protection, like calmness, helps happiness and peace. Strawberry, luck and love. And pineapple, luck and money. Mango, harmony, balance, protection, rose petals, love, healing, divination, luck and protection. Raspberry, protection, love, healing, and orange increases attractiveness, beauty, and happiness. So I thought that was like the perfect blend for this.
Yeah, those colors kind of, when you think of the colors, they kind of match with what they do also.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Actually going to, as we start, I'm going to pour myself a glass. And I always need honey in all my teas. I'm like a honey addict. And this one is actually an allergy blend. So they actually put like it's 10 times of pollen of raw honey, which you would think, you know, I have a lot of allergies, and that it actually ends up helping with that. The springtime allergies with everything blooming.
So honey helps with allergies, you're saying?
Yeah, they can. But only so you should always I've been told by, you know, I go to a lot of like vending event, like vendors who sell their own honey. They say always get local, because the local honey has everything,
all the allergies in your area.
Yeah, all the plants and flowers from the areas that the bees pollinate. That's what you want in your honey. So this one's actually from Florida, and Groveland, Florida. So this is all the blends from all the plants and flowers from Florida.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I learned that like this year. So I'm like, anything to help with allergies.
Yeah, I can understand that. You don't want droopy eyes.
No. So we could start with the holiday. I know you actually learned a lot, like with this podcast coming up.
I did. I really did. I mean, I kind of knew the gist of it because I'm a big history buff and I like to learn the background on things that I do. But I really found an interesting legend, and I don't know how much of a legend. I don't know. It depends on what you believe in. So Yoster is the goddess of Easter, or Ostara, or, you know, however you say it. But Yoster found a wounded bird in the winter, and it was dying. So she picked the bird up, she transformed it into a hare or a rabbit, and she wanted to save its life. So to save its life, she transformed this bird into this hare, but it didn't fully transform. So the interesting part is that the hare or rabbit was still able to lay eggs. So as it was laying eggs, it decided that it was going to color the eggs and give it out for gifts. So that's where we get the Easter Bunny from.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
So
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. And that's why so you'll see a lot of similarities between Easter and Ostara and celebrating the Spring Equinox, because a lot of the, I guess, the traditions got crossed over with Easter, like the eggs. You know, we color with me and, you know, my kids, we celebrate Ostara. I do the egg hunting. We do coloring of the eggs and everything like that, just the same.
Yeah, we do it as well with the kids, the grandkids, whatever. But it does say that the first documented source of Ostara was in the 8th century, and it was with the Germans, and then it moved on to the Celts. There are 3 kind of really interesting things that have been done throughout time. And the first one was egg rolling. And they said that was started because the stone rolled in front of Jesus's tomb. So that was picked up for that reason. They did egg dancing. So they would blindfold people so that they would check to see if they stepped on the egg because they were sacred. Which, I don't know. That would really be weird for me.
Yeah.
And then the egg hunting started with Martin Luther, which I don't think a lot of people know who Martin Luther is, but he had a special like religious following.
Okay.
And he had women do the egg hunts because the women were the ones that came to check to see if Jesus was missing in the tomb. So that's like an interesting thing I thought as well.
Yeah.
So Ostara is supposed to be equal to Easter and the Spring Equinox, which is the vernal equinox. It's supposed to be around the same time. This year, it's very different. It's a lot earlier this year because of leap year. It's also interesting with the rabbit because it's supposed to be like energetic breeding.
Yes, that's one big thing about this holiday. It is known for fertility, and it is known for what we do.
It's a saying that involves
to
rabbits.
Produce. Exactly. It's definitely the it's a fun celebration sometimes.
Creating like rabbits.
Yes.
But Ostara is supposed to be on the 19th of the month. Easter this year is the 31st of the month. And the vernal equinox is supposed to be the 21st of the month. However, it was changed this month. And it will be on at 11:06 p.m. But the spring equinox is actually when the sun crosses the celestial equator, making day equal to night. So it happens at 2 points in the year, and it will be again when the winter equinox happens.
Yeah, it's the perfect balance in a day where you have the same amount of hours of day and the same amount of hours of night, like daylight and darkness in one day. So,
and we deal with a lot of balance in what we do as witches. And hermeticism as well. So that's really interesting. But this is a time for renewal and rebirth and, you know, squashing a beef with somebody or, you know, cleaning your house with spring cleaning and, you know, planting something or a good time to start a project. This is a great time of year to be able to do those things, which is why we celebrate that. And it's the third Sabbath of the year out of the 8 that we have. So
I you know, it's funny. I don't think it like, I actually just started spring cleaning, not even realizing like, hey, the spring equinox, the star is almost here. I'm like, it's almost like it's like, oh, it's that time.
Well, you start to get excited because it's lighter, longer, and it's energizing, and you feel better, and everybody starts to feel better about themselves, and it's not so, you know, dark and dreary.
You're coming out of that darkness.
Right. So it gives you that push. You're not hiding inside of the cave anymore.
Yes. That is definitely too. But also makes you appreciate the darkness because without darkness, we wouldn't have light.
That's correct. I always say that. I love that you said that.
I always say that too. I'm like, you know, without everything that's happened in the past, you know, I want to be who I am, and I love who I am. So
I always say no regrets. If you didn't do the stupid things that you did in the past, you wouldn't be who you are now, which is
exactly.
Amazing. And I just noticed you're wearing white, I'm wearing black. It's a perfect balance here.
Exactly. We did not plan that.
Not at all. Not even a little
hilarious. Bit. I love that. I love it. So yeah, that it's you know, I don't know if you work with like deities when you practice. I'm actually not a big deity person, but the spring equinox and the story and the you know, with the goddess of Ostara all made more sense to me even growing up, because the whole thing with the Easter Bunny and, you know, the more Christian based, which is what I grew up in, it never clicked in my head. I'm just like, wait, what does this all have to do with one another? So once I started learning more, getting more into the practice and learning about the craft and the holidays, celebrated stuff, I'm like, this makes more sense to me, and why I celebrate it now. So, and the thing is, I like that everything's based on the turn of the seasons
Yeah.
and things like that, because that, that was always celebrated, when it was time for winter to come, when spring, summer, all that. So instead of some of these feel like made up holidays that
Valentine's Day.
yeah.
Let's just celebrate it when the corporate America wants to sell a card.
I did get a heart-shaped pizza this year. Yeah. So that wasn't too bad. There's some good that comes out of it. My kids enjoyed it, so it's fine.
I think sometimes it's okay to, do a little bit of something, but sometimes people go really overboard with things.
Yeah. But I can't say too much because once Halloween rolls around, I'm like,
Halloween's good.
I definitely go overboard. Halloween, Samhain, like all that. It's
yeah.
And it's so funny because by me, so I'm in Florida and you're in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
We're in two opposite ends.
Right.
But no one by me decorates for
really?
Nobody. No one. But once Christmas rolls up, you see all the lights and everything. I'm like, hey.
It would feel really weird to me being hot like that and having Christmas. I don't know, but I really don't want to live here forever. I would love to move to Florida, and I think they're planning that too. But I don't know, popping open a Corona and laying on the beach at Christmas would be great for me. I have no problem with that.
It is a good time. You get maybe like 2 weeks where it gets like cold, but then it's
cold to you is not cold to us. I guarantee that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got Florida skin now, so like in the 50s, it is cold.
Yeah, flip flops. So that, I mean, eventually it would probably be cold to me. But
yeah. So, and it's funny because with us there, Ostara, and coming out of darkness and stuff, it's more like we just got added light to the light that we have down here. It is definitely getting hotter, so we're feeling it.
I'm ready.
I feel like Florida skips for spring and just goes like straight to winter. I mean, winter. Oh my God, summer.
Summer to winter and backwards.
Yeah,
I would be okay with that though.
It's not so bad.
I'm freezing.
No, I'm wearing short sleeves, dress, super comfortable.
I wish.
But so yeah, so there's a lot of things that you could do for this holiday. Like we mentioned, you could do egg decorating, egg hunting, different rituals and spells can be incorporated into this holiday. There's,
your altar.
Yes. Decorating your altar. What did we do? Planting a plant, spring cleaning, all that. I feel like I'm sure I'm missing some, but
but we can like what you want to do. It's not that there's
it's not like you have to do everything. Like I said, I started off small with just like making a simmer pot, and I've always been into teas, so that's why I usually I'll sometimes create a tea blend for certain things. And now I've started making tea blends for certain holidays to go with it. So yeah.
I think it's up to each individual person how much you want to do. If you're just first starting out, you can do with a simmer pot. You can form a small altar like with pastel colors and put dyed eggs out.
And you don't have to do everything by the book. It's whatever you're called to, whatever colors you feel gravitated to use, whatever stones, crystals, I definitely change up from like what other people. I also props to everyone who can memorize every crystal, every herb, all that. You will see me look down at a piece of paper because I cannot memorize. Oh, it's just way too much information.
I don't know about you, but when I go to the store to pick out crystals for what I need them for, I'm looking at, the thing behind them and looking to see what it says. Like if I need, psychic ability enhancement, I will pick out
Yeah.
stuff. And then I don't remember what they're for.
Yeah. But you were called to it for a reason. And that's what I do. I'm like, I'm feeling the stone. And I feel like I'm called to it because I need it at that time.
Or if they're pretty.
Or if they're really pretty. I've gotten a couple of those.
Like angelite, I love. And remember, if you get angelite, do not put it in water. It takes away the color.
Also, don't put selenite in water, I've discovered. That's a big no-no. That causes rust and ruins the whole thing. So not all crystals can be put, and stones can be put in water.
Or sunlight.
or sunlight, yeah. This one, so I have my little water bottle. This has rose quartz. This can be put in water. It's safe to drink out of and everything. So the stones I am using, I want to say I'm like 80% sure it can be put in water, so that's what we're gonna do.
You can always even test it out with a really small piece if you're not sure.
That's true. I've used these stones. I want to say these are okay. So nothing fancy. This is a Rubbermaid container. You don't need to get, you don't need to break your budget. The rosy jar, you can actually get these on Amazon. So, and they come in different sizes. This will probably, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it bloom this episode because I chose the largest one. And it takes a little longer for it to start blooming. Yeah. So, I'm going to place this. I'm actually going to move the candle out of the way so you can see what's happening. So what I'm going to do is I have quartz crystal. I'm going to place it. I'm actually going to place the quartz kind of somewhat underneath it. And then we got tiger's eye, okay, and amethyst, and obsidian. I need as much protection as possible. And you know what it is? It's like the field that we're in, investigating and walking into locations you don't know and things following back. And we've worked on a few cases where we've all kind of been affected coming out of it. So that's why I'm focusing this ritual now for a number of different things, which is, protection, continued happiness, getting rid of all that bad energy and karma, possibly being sent my way, and, letting go of that. And yeah, so and yours could be for any reason that you choose. So I put the crystals into the Rubbermaid container. I have a little parchment paper. It came with a kit that I had, but you can use regular paper. You're gonna write whatever intention that you want for this holiday to grow and bloom along with the plant. So I'm gonna keep mine to myself though. Well, no, it's basically like yes. Let's see. Can't hurt with more money in life, but also health. This past year I've had a lot of health issues and I had surgeries and things, so just good health, and my kids.
Always a good one.
Yeah. And you want to fold your paper towards you because you want it to come to you. Yeah. When you're doing certain spells like
Like a
cutting
binding?
cord spells or binding you want to fold away, because you don't want that on you. Put that underneath your resurrection plant. I'm going to actually add some coins for, little money spell in there. Doesn't hurt. Gotta pay these hospital bills. Got that, and I'm actually gonna take I didn't have some things I'll use is moon water, sun water, or charged water. You could just use regular sink water if you don't, charge your waters. It's fine. Then, yeah, I'm gonna pour all this in, and while you're pouring, think about the intention that you want to grow and bloom along with this plant. So that's gonna sit in the water. Like I said, this one will probably need more water. It'll take some time to grow. I'll probably add some more water later. Set that intention. I'm also gonna light the candles. While you're lighting, always think about the intentions that you want set forward. You can also, are you big with like saying like blessings or chants? Some people are and some people aren't.
I kind of make my own, and it seems to rhyme when I do it. And
Yeah.
then I add, so mote it be. And I usually say 3 times.
I will say it 3 times. For this, I actually don't have one. So I'm just gonna kind of repeat what I wrote in my mind. I'm like, I don't know why these are so long. Do you see these wicks? They're so long.
I was wondering where you got those from, actually.
This actually all came with like a
kit?
It was like a whole Wicca kit. Yeah, I got for Christmas. My little torch lighter. So
I don't use regular lighters either. I use the torch lighters for like a grill.
Right. Yeah.
They're easy to find. They come in a 3-pack usually, and
yeah. Well, we like our cigars, so that's why we have like the little torch lighter.
Well, with mine, then I can light the big candles from like Yankee Candle or whatever, and then you can light the grill. You can light anything with them.
Yeah. So again, this could be just as simple because I've seen some very
like
elaborate setup. Honestly, to me, it's all about the intention you set. Whether you want to make a big elaborate thing or if you want to do just something in your mind, or or even sometimes I'll actually play music, like a certain song that I feel called towards, like a lot of like Celtic music. I don't know why, but I love like Celtic music too when doing this stuff. But things like that. Nothing big, extravagant. You're not, sacrificing anything or anything too crazy. That's another episode. No, just kidding.
That's more angry witches.
I mean, to each their own. I just can't. No hate to the people who do. So here, I have the desert rose. It's in the water. It's getting charged by the crystals. My intention is set in the parchment paper inside. I've lit my candles to kind of build that energy and raise that intention up higher and more. And that's kind of like what I like to do for Sarah's. Something super simple, not too. I say simple, but and it's funny because the setup is like whoa, but then when you do it, it's like no, it's not that complicated.
No, So what does the Rose of Jericho look like when it's bloomed? Is it green? Is it red? Is it?
It's all green, so it blooms to like this bright like green color. It's really beautiful. I will take a picture once it's fully bloomed, and then I'll post it up when it does. I know last year mine was the last one to bloom. but everyone else's like kind of opened up really quickly because they had the smaller ones. So yeah, and I use the different color. So each one represents so the candles do. I'm really big on like representation. So like the candles actually represent, the earth, air, fire, water. So the elements. So you got like green for earth, like grounding. You have blue for water. Pink is actually for fire, and orange is for air. Orange is interchangeable for air or fire. I'm using pink for fire, so that's why. So yeah, so one.
Also use just white if you don't have those colors.
Yes.
White's always eligible for anything.
White is great for just purification, everything. White's also one of those interchangeable candles, like you said, if you don't have the colors. Again, this all came with a kit that I got for Christmas, so I'm using it.
They put those together.
But and a lot of the stuff too, like the candles and everything, you can get at like the closest Dollar Tree or dollar store. You don't have to go to like if it's just candles, you don't have to go to a metaphysical shop and get them. You can anoint them yourself. So anointing is like putting oil and herbs on that you may want to use. I'll usually anoint a candle if I'm doing a spell or something like that. And then here I made a ton of simmer pot jars. So it's like pre-prepped for the holiday. So all this has to go is into a pot on the stove. And it has like dried lemons, dried oranges, apples, strawberries, rose petals. It has salt for protection and lavender, all the herbs, with a different meaning and intention. And then it has the bay leaves where we write our intentions. And I also add vanilla and honey to bind all the ingredients and the intentions together. And I let that simmer on the stove for 7 days. I don't leave it on straight 7 days. I turn it off, obviously, when I'm not around, and then turn it back on. But it's like potpourri for the house. It makes your house smell
amazing all the time.
So good. My house smells like a metaphysical shop. That's what it smells like. I probably smell like a metaphysical shop if you meet me.
I think it sounds good. I think it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Especially with the honey and, gluing that all together and then just, letting it sit so it can be turned on.
If it wasn't for the fact that, like, if you want to replace the salt with sugar and then make, like, a sangria out of it, as long as, like, everything you used is, like, edible, go for it. But mine has salt, and I don't think it tastes that great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on how much salt you put in it, too.
Yeah. I put a lot.
And I think
needs it.
I wanted to mention about the candles also. Candles, you can even use birthday candles. You can carve things into the candles. If you're doing like a love spell, you can carve the initials of the two people into it.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do with spells.
Yeah, you can even carve your own name for self-love.
Right.
If that's something that you're looking for, it doesn't always have to be finding love for someone else, but love within yourself. I know a lot of us have trouble with that. I go through my ups and downs, and sometimes I'll do a self-love kind of thing for me. I actually do a more, I need to start up again. I used to do a lot of ritual baths. Have you done those?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you set your candles, your music, and with the salt and whatever herbs you need at that time.
Those petals.
Yeah.
Quartz you can put in the bath with you.
Yes. And it's so funny because a few times, like, my husband like, "Oh, is this for us?" I'm like, "No, this is just me. This is me time." He thought I was getting romantic for him. It's like, no.
It's just you, huh?
Yeah, it's like
And I watch.
half the time I think I'm napping because I'm so relaxed, and you're just like, it's like, knocked out for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know
But
how that goes. It's like you're so
yeah.
exhausted after a day that the bath isn't even self-love. It's just like zonked out completely because it's warm. And then you wake up and it's
Exactly.
cold and you're like trying to get a towel.
Yes. Yes.
The warmth is gone and you're trying to
The
tiptoe.
warmth is gone. Yeah. Yeah, that's usually not fun when that happens. So, I usually wait. When I light the candles, these are smaller candles, so they usually burn a lot faster. But if you're using a bigger candle, sometimes having the candle lit first would be probably better, so you're not waiting so long for it to. Although this blue one really isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, so
The
you want
blue
to
one's taking
like
longer.
snuff it too with like your like lick your fingers and snuff it or put a snuff over it. You don't
Yeah,
ever want
I
to blow
need
it
one of
out.
those.
You're
I need
blowing
one of
away all
those.
of your wishes or whatever.
Oh my god, I just learned something new.
You didn't know that?
I blew away all my wishes.
Yeah, you don't want to blow because you're blowing away whatever you put your intentions into. So you
That
want
makes
to
sense.
lick your fingers and stuff it
And
out.
just go bloop.
Just
Okay. Actually have a
unless they're small enough that it can just burn itself out.
Yeah, these three are burning pretty
Is that
quickly.
blue one a trick one?
The blue one,
Wouldn't that be something if like
you know what's funny? The blue one represents wisdom, calmness, and protection, and this one's like, you really need this right
and
now.
then your husband
We're
blew
gonna
in
slow burn. We're gonna
burn.
slow burn right now.
Here's for wisdom. We just played a joke on it. That would really be fun.
You know, you also never want to leave your candles unattended and things like that, because don't want to start no house fires, obviously.
Definitely not around little children. Or
Yes.
husbands.
Or husbands.
Or haters.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I'm actually excited for tomorrow. I'm gonna have a little mini feast.
Are you?
I'm going to try to bake a bread. We'll see how that goes. I found this really good like lemon lavender bread recipe that I'm like, I'm feeling. So never had it before in my life. Don't know how it's gonna go, but we're gonna try it.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Trying something new this year.
I think I'm gonna make I love seafood and it always reminds me of summer. So since we're going towards summer, I might make like a shrimp scampi over pasta.
Ooh, that sounds good.
With like some lemon in it.
That is good. I know some people will take, depending, this is more, I think, more for people who have deities, will use that food offering and set it on their altar. And so I always discard. So one of the big questions people always ask is like, what do you do with the food after? Because it's like, you don't want to, I feel like throwing in the garbage is disrespectful, because it's like, here's your offering, now it's going in the trash. So I actually used to like, I would always like dig a hole in the ground outside and like bury it back into the ground. Yeah. We do that a lot. Huh?
So you're nourishing the ground for things to grow.
Yeah. So we do that a lot for Samhain, where we leave a plate out for our deceased loved one, and then when we're done, we then bury the food outside. So we've done that.
I like it.
Thanks. Yeah, because for a while, it's like, what? I had to like, we did it we like set the plate out, and I loved it the first time we did it. But I remember going afterwards, like, what do we do with the food? And I had to like Google, like, what do most people do?
In this area, it would be feral cats that would be fed.
I know. I'm sure I definitely got some animals fed, but I felt better about that than it going in the trash.
Yeah, well, we would get a fine for that because we have a feral cat problem here. But I
Oh.
find that. However, when I make shrimp scampi, I use a lot of garlic, and that's a problem with fur
Ooh.
animals. But I do like that because even with Halloween, you're feeding the worms,
Yeah.
you're feeding the ground, and you're feeding the trees, so there's more growth there, which I love. That's a
Mhm.
great idea.
Yeah. So if you can do that. But I guess there's nothing wrong with throwing in the trash. It was just like mentally for me, like I'm like, I feel wrong just throwing it.
Yeah, I was going to say, putting it down the garbage disposal.
Yeah.
You're just getting rid of food that it would, because I would say, normally if it was still good, you can give it to a homeless shelter or something like that, but it's been sitting. So
Yeah. So, but
unless you give like just a small portion.
yeah, no, we don't do like a whole like full plate. We do a small portion as like an offering, and then
That's a great idea.
yeah.
I like that. I might start to use that.
Yeah, like we like especially for someone, we put the pictures up of if we have any of our deceased loved ones, and then we do the empty plate. Well, not the empty seat with the plate with
Mm-hmm.
food on it.
I don't really follow I mean, like, I kind of speak to Agate and Diana, but I'm more
Yeah,
with archangels
got
because
it.
I don't believe that they're religious. I believe that they are just archangels and the church has made them saints.
Yeah,
So I talk to them.
that makes sense.
But
That
I do
definitely makes
follow.
sense. I have been getting more intrigued by if like I was to choose a deity, it would be Lilith, only because her story
She's
and what
powerful.
happened to her, not only is she's like super powerful, I'm all about like, you know, uh like that feminine like power and independence, and her whole story of how she's, in a lot of accounts, like she was the first woman before
Mm-hmm.
Eve.
Mm-hmm.
She was created the same way that Adam was created. And because she wanted to be created equal and not be beneath Adam, she
That was
was she was casted out and made out to be a demon.
Don't you find
And
that
it's
interesting though, that like that same thing happened to Lucifer, and because they wanted knowledge, they were cast out just because you want knowledge. And now we're being taught seek knowledge, get a degree, get whatever.
yeah,
So what would have happened to us?
yeah, exactly.
So because they wanted to be intelligent, that was a challenge to God, and they
Yeah.
were cast out because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally go down that rabbit hole and be like, well, why was there even a tree of knowledge? Like, why
Right.
was there, like,
Right.
at this time, it's like almost playing a game and seeing what's going to happen.
We had a big conversation on our show about that, and it was starting to become really wicked because people who were mostly of the Catholic faith were like, don't even go there, don't question them, don't question that, don't question God, don't. And I was like,
But people also have to realize, and so I've read the Bible. I find the Bible fascinating
mm-hmm,
as a story. I love it. It's a great story to me. I've read it. I've taken theology courses. I've also studied other religions. And um, I don't label what I am. I practice,
yeah,
but like I said, I don't have that deity that I get called to. I only gravitated towards Lilith because of her story.
Yeah, same.
And how I feel like a lot of women can relate to. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same with the story with Medusa, how unfair it was for her to be the one changed into a snake.
Yeah.
When she was the one who was taken advantage of and seeked help.
It happens so often in society, though, with lots of
It
people. Not
happens
just,
very often.
I mean, you're the one who's wrong because you're powerful, independent, and outspoken, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, that goes back to witches. So witches, like the term witch was something that was created by, Christians and Catholics. But back then they weren't calling themselves that. A lot of them were just
Healers.
men and women who were just knew herbs, were medicine people. But the church didn't want like the townspeople to seek them for help. They wanted them to turn to the church for help. So
Yeah.
they were ousted.
Mm-hmm.
Just for like knowing what herbs can heal certain things. People saw them as miracle workers, but at that time it's like, no, they just knew. Like they just had the knowledge.
Yeah. Sad.
So, and it's sad that
knowledge.
and then that went down like hill with, then it turned into, okay, it was just like, the herbal medicine people in town to, this person was jealous of this person, so this person called that one a witch, and then that person would get murdered for it. So then it turned into that. It was just a whole snowball effect of like everything going wrong.
We're just seeing so much of it. It's just sad.
Well, with me, especially with that belief system that Christians, Catholics have, they also have to realize in this time and through archaeological research alone, it's pretty much rewritten what's in those books. So I feel like our history is always changing because of all of our findings. That's the same goes for everything that was in the Bible. And the Bible is, everyone has an interpretation, their own interpretation of what the words in the Bible means to them. And again, the Bible was rewritten so many times throughout the years. On top of the fact that that's not the whole book. There's so many chapters that are kept in the Vatican that never made it on to, the actual Bible. We don't know what information we're missing.
They're hiding it
and
from
things
us.
like that. Yeah. And then, so that could just be like, again, I could keep like going because like discussion about religion and everything is fascinating. I know.
Because you know your stuff. I like having a conversation with somebody who knows their stuff. I end up getting in conversations with people who are like, but that's not right. But why not? Because I just said so.
Yeah. Or they're like, well, the Bible says this. Is like, well, which version are you reading? And how are you interpreting what they're saying? And also, you can't go by one verse without going, like when it comes to sins. And they're like, oh, well, it's wrong for this. I'm like, okay, what's also wrong for this? Are you negating that one and just picking and choosing which one you want to stand for?
There's so much that can be, argued over things. And they even found something that said that Jesus was married and he had kids and, and Mary was his.
That there was an actual there's an actual line that goes back to Jesus. So
yeah. Not in the Da Vinci Code either.
That was a good movie, though. But that's kind of what brought up that whole like, hey, there's possibly a line that goes further down. Because
I in no way, and we in no way, I should say, we in no way, for the Christian witches out there, we are not bashing what you believe in.
No,
we're just discussing things that seem sketchy or don't match. So we would like to have an open conversation about what we believe, or this is just our thoughts. That's all. So everybody has
and when it comes to and it goes to, especially when it comes to Christian, which is like my daughter, who's 9, gears more towards, like, she practices with me. I don't force her. Oh, if you could tell, it's actually starting to open, my plant. Um, she practices with me, but she does gravitate more towards, um, you know,
Christianity.
Jesus, and she's very into she actually used Saint Michael's for protection and things like that. I don't, deter her. I let her find her faith. I think everybody should choose and find their faith, their way.
I
And
agree.
for her, if that's Jesus and using Saint Michael's, for more power to her. Whatever makes her feel powerful and feel safe, and you know to me, and to find a faith that, like, she connects to, that's more
Yeah.
important than anything.
What
um
empowers you makes you feel whole.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so for me, it practicing does that, um in its own way, and I think that's why I never really uh dealt too much with deities, because I feel like a lot of it, like, I also, I'm always weird, so I also don't like to put names or labels, because I'm like,
Yeah.
we're naming this god and goddesses, that, but what if we're totally butchering this? And it's like, we're naming the wrong people. We're,
You do that. Does it make you feel fake?
it doesn't make me feel fake. Like, if I want to call to a higher power, I like, kind of call it in a way where it's like, it's not to any one specific.
Do you just say
It's
source?
like, whoever that's highest.
See, like
um
when I was a kid, I felt very misplaced and
mhm.
felt very strange and uncomfortable being in a church. Always.
Yeah.
And even as a little kid, and I was taught that that was right and that's where I was supposed to be, and I was going to go
Mhm.
there or I would be grounded. Even growing up, like older, and I wound up in a Catholic school, and
Mhm.
I had a great experience there socially, but I felt forced and everything felt very
Yeah.
strange to me. And I knew that I didn't belong there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just, like, God, that word coming out of my mouth feels odd and
Mhm.
forced, and the name sounds weird coming out of my mouth. But I just know that there is a higher power, although I'm not Wiccan because I don't practice in a coven, and
Yeah.
I don't I don't really have names for things, but I do know that there are goddesses and gods, and I maybe not
Mhm.
use them, but there are.
Yeah,
Do you?
I think there's definitely, like, a plural higher powers, and
Mhm.
that's why I kind of like the whole paganism thing, because it was more to, like, describe everything going on. Like, there's a sky god, there's a moon god, there's a sun goddess, there's, Mother Earth, nature. Everything was nature
That
based,
that's what I mean.
and it was, respecting and acknowledging, what was happening around them, and that's also why I gravitated towards the craft and everything like that, because and these holidays, because it's so much more nature and based, like, with the change of the seasons and everything like that.
Yeah,
But yeah.
a way to explain it, because I really didn't have a way to explain it except for what I just said, and it just felt like I don't think I'm getting to where I need to be word
Yeah.
wise with it. But that was a great explanation. Thank you for that. I just didn't
No.
understand how to, like, put it together. Thank you.
Yeah, because at the college I actually went to for a year was a Roman Catholic college, like, super
Mine
strict,
too.
very Roman Catholic. And one of the things, like, I took a theology course. The theology teacher was actually very open-minded and very uh, made you think outside of the box. It was like one of those rare teachers, especially in that environment, that she allowed you to think more than what was just in the Bible. And then she brought in other religions and their beliefs. Um, but I remember we had a lot of international students, and I don't hate. I'm not like a hater of like Christians or the Catholic system. I think
Mm-hmm.
the organization in it, just like, and some of the people, but there's good and bad people everywhere in every religion and every faith. There's always one extreme to another extreme. Um, but I remember being fascinated by this one girl who was Haitian. She told us her story. Like basically, her father sold her, like gambled her away, and she was a slave, and she was tortured and abused and all this stuff. And she never let go of her faith, and I found that fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
That she kept going, and if your belief and your faith empowers you that much, who am I to say what is right and wrong? Um, she never tried to, she knew I didn't have the same beliefs as her, and what I liked about her was she never tried to push her faith onto me. And that's there was like that mutual respect because we were both good people and we
Yeah.
got along great. And it's almost like with the craft, it's not that you could kind of say the same thing. Whereas there's some people who do certain rituals one way, and some people who do, like, I do a more simplified, easier version of rituals only because I'm a mom with kids. Like, I don't have time to set up for like days to prepare myself for like a real
Right.
in-depth ritual. But this itself in it is enough to empower me and to make me feel that self-empowerment that uh, I guess what faith would do for others.
But I think as long as it makes you feel empowered, because I have
Yeah.
a belief in belief. I don't necessarily have a belief in God, but I
Mm-hmm.
believe in belief. As long as my belief is strong in myself, in others, in
Here, I guess they're
whatever.
showing it started to open up
Oh,
on
that's so
this
neat.
side.
I could see
And
their like
it's
prompt.
starting to turn a little bit green.
I can't wait to see
So
the finished
the
product.
whole, I don't know if it's gonna. It's funny because I originally had it in a tiny bowl. I got this container. I'm like, I don't even think it's gonna fit in this container either.
Like me with my meatloaf when it's left over. I don't even know if it's going to fit in here, but I'm going to force it.
Yep, it's gonna happen. We're gonna do this.
This is really
Definitely
cool.
needs more water. But yeah.
Your candles are dwindling down.
Right, but not this blue one's taking a long time. I think it just means I need extra calmness and patience.
Now you have to start lighting the blue ones first.
Yeah, I think so. But and if anyone's watching, if you have an opinion or like let us know, or if there's a specific thing you want us to talk about, because we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We're going to be showcasing different, like you do a lot of spells, so I would love if one episode we could do like a spell and show us how to do that, and maybe we'll spruce up a fun cocktail. I'm in the mood
I
for
like cocktails.
sangria lately, I feel. Yeah. So, or a wine. Um, there's some fun wines that I've been wanting to try. That's kind of like goes like the Seven Moons, or no, what there's a brand of wine. I want to say it's like Seven Moons or something, but the bottle looks really awesome because it has like the celestial like phases on it. I was like,
Oh,
that looks
cool.
pretty.
You'll have to tell me in advance and I'll go get a bottle so I can have
Yeah,
some.
then we'll have some together.
Yeah, I can't miss out on this.
Yeah. But so with this new podcast, we're gonna be doing what, like bi-weekly,
Yeah.
putting some stuff together. I think next one, let's definitely do a spell.
I've been asked a lot lately for binding spells.
Okay.
So we could do like a binding spell.
We can definitely do that. I actually had to do one for a case a while back.
Okay.
It's behind me in this wooden box.
Don't unbind that.
No, it's actually so what's inside is binded, and then there's mirrors in the interior, and then it's
So it's a
closed.
mirror box. Okay.
Yeah, it's what's binded is inside the mirror box, so
Okay.
that's not opening that one.
I usually do two things with my binding spells. I bind it and then I freeze it. So we can do.
You know, I've heard so much about freezer spells, and I've never done one yet.
So we can talk about both.
Okay.
I always do it both ways just because I want to make sure it's like sealed tight.
Yes. And this is also, so I think me and you've discussed this before. We're more, I guess, what people would label like gray witches. We're, you know, we do good stuff, but we also, we gotta take care of some business. We will.
Yeah.
I don't know if you believe in the whatever you send out comes back like times 3, like the karma of 3.
I believe that if you're doing something with good intentions and with love, even if it's for yourself or for someone else, you're protected.
Yeah, I agree. Even if it's like, I do a lot of return to senders, but basically I'm never adding on to what's sent my way. It's like whatever you're sending my way, just return back to you.
I've done many return to senders, and like I've never gotten any bad karma back.
Yeah, I know some people are iffy about doing some of them because they're afraid of like getting what's back. I'm like, I haven't had that problem.
Just returning it. Like if you're starting shit, I believe it's just like, if you swing first, you're gonna get in deep shit. If you swing back, you're just defending yourself. Kind of like that.
That's how I work. Like I'll never just start something like, oh, I'm just gonna do this to you. It's if I feel something's brought on to me, I'm going to return it. And I don't even really name a specific person. I kind of just go, whoever is sending.
That's how I am.
And then to me, I send it back.
I call all my power back to me. Whomever sent me this shit show, I'm sending it back to you.
Yeah. So we're gonna do first a binding one, and then probably maybe the next one do a return to sender.
Yeah, let's do that.
That'll be a good one to talk. Yeah, there's so many. Look, it's opening up more.
Hey,
it's opening very.
I love them. They're like tumbleweeds.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
This way. The bottom part gets. I think one section's getting more water.
You know, I think I've seen them before.
Yeah. I have to look where they're originated from.
Jericho.
But
I know I'm a smart ass.
Probably.
Return to you, Thunder.
Oh, this is the close-up of Sebo.
It's so
neat. It's opening.
That's so cool.
I just put all the candle wax in there with my intention. So
cool. I really like that.